Under Donald Trump, our environment is screwed, and the EPA is every day getting swampier and swampier. And in this video, we're gonna break down two recent hires that have to do with our environment that make clear who this administration is going to serve. So first I wanna talk about Patrick Traylor. That apparently is his actual name. Partner at Hogan Lovells was recently hired as the EPA's Deputy Assistant Administrator in the Office of Enforcement and Compliance Assurance. With both sounds like the most boring job in the world, but also represents a very powerful position. We're talking about one of the main investigative lawyers that's intended to protect the environment in the EPA. So let's talk about who this person is and where his loyalties might lie. Back when he was working at Hogan Lovells, his clients included all of these different corporations that you're gonna see in this list. Daimler AG, Dominion Energy, Edison Mission Energy, Flint Hills Resources, Invista, the Koch brothers, NRG Energy, which by the way is a terrible name for an energy corporation, it's redundant. Southern California Edison, TransCanada, by the way, you've heard them in the news for their pipelines, and Venture Global LNG. So I don't doubt that you need an experienced lawyer in this position. But a guy who for literally decades has been defending the interests of some of the biggest polluters and environmental aggressors in our country is not the person who should be investigating them, especially when you consider that the day he leaves that position at the EPA, he's gonna go back to an incredibly profitable position, probably for one of those corporations.
You'd have to try and make it up. And I not hate the term, but I don't know if it's too harsh, the murderous row of people you appoint to be parts of it, to the head already, Scott Pruitt already, but then also people underneath just to make sure that it's chocked full of people with the exact opposite interest in mind for what the department is supposed to do. So instead of the proposed policies of getting rid of the Department of Education, getting rid of the EPA, abolishing the IRS, as Ted Cruz liked to say, instead, we'll just chock it full of people that will virtually destroy it from the inside out anyway, and then say we're staffing it when actually you're just eating it alive.
Exactly.
Just to get to your interest. I don't know how we can keep accepting it. It's blatant.
It's blatant. It is blatant, and we've got another name for you. Perhaps even worse than Traylor. Let's talk about Jeffrey Bossert Clark, nominated by President Donald Trump. It was in a graphic, they got me to say it. Now I feel dirty. On Tuesday to serve as the Justice Department's top environmental lawyer. So this isn't the EPA, but it still has to do with those who abuse the environment. Clark previously represented BP after the 2010 Deepwater Horizon drilling rig explosion and Macondo oil well rupture that killed 11 workers and was, as you probably remember, the largest offshore environmental disaster in US history. He was there fighting for BP at that point. But it's not just a financial thing. There's the financial component. There's also an ideological component to where his loyalties lie. So he was a partner in the Washington office of Kirkland and Ellis. Previously, he's represented the US Chamber of Commerce in lawsuits challenging the federal government's authority to regulate carbon emissions. In court, he has repeatedly argued that it is inappropriate to base government policymaking on the scientific consensus presented by the IPCC. So there, he's making money. But he also had a blog, by the way, where for a long time he's talked about how we shouldn't be listening to scientists when it comes to the environment. He said, when did America risk coming to be ruled by foreign scientists in the apparatchiks at the United Nations? And as made clear by the NRDC's Clean Air Program Director, he has a long history of opposing climate action for corporate and ideological clients.
Because foreign scientists are all the ones that are saying there's something going on with our climate. American scientists, they're on board.
Exactly.
100% of they're like, oh, America.
Great.
Forget the reality of science. Let's just go ahead and say that we're the best and we can do whatever we want. It's not gonna hurt that bad.
Yeah, and look, so they're staffing up the EPA, but this is the EPA, it's also Department of Justice as well. And all those people who are supposed to be watchdogs making sure that we don't sell off the environment, our mineral rights and all the public lands, that we don't pollute, that we don't ruin our streams and our water and our air, our coastlines, that we don't drill every drop of oil out of our land while we still can. those people, man, they're all hacks for industry now. They're all people who seem like true believers that don't believe that climate change is happening, and they have been paid to hold that position in the past.
And then after they do, and they say that it's for the benefit of America and the wealth of America, let's refer back to a previous story we just did. The wealth of America is not going back to the people who they need you to continue to vote for people who are gonna put you in place to be like, look at the wealth of America that you don't get any part of.
Exactly.
What's the benefit?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe you get to drive through a nice neighborhood, look at the fancy houses you can't afford. I guess that's a silver lining.
You don't like ads? Well, I hear you, brother. Did you know that you can become a Young Turks member, get the full 2-hour show every day on demand, plus so many other network shows, all ad-free for just $10 a month? Give it a shot right now, TYTnetwork.com/join.